Hi, welcome to Jess for Fun News. I'm your host, Jess, and the focus of today's show is immigration. We have with us two well-known researchers, John Pick and Sarah Green. So could you guys please tell us the premise of your study?
Well, immigration is obviously a big deal on a national scale right now, and we basically want to investigate it on a more local scale. So we chose a neighborhood in Boston. We chose Charlestown. It's a city of about 16,000 people, and 10% of the residents identify as Hispanic, and that number is growing. Like most of Boston, Charlestown has a really strong Irish heritage, and so we want to investigate how a new round of immigration, primarily of Latinos and Hispanics into the area, is going to interact with the existing community.
So we went and interviewed a couple people who worked at local businesses there.
All right, let's see the clip.
¿Alguna vez has sentido que su negocio por ser de latinos ha sido discriminado?
No, todavía no.
O sea, que no hay ningún problema. ¿Y nunca se ha sentido usted discriminado por ningún gringo ni nada? Perfecto. ¿Y qué tipo de clientela viene usualmente?
Bueno, vienen una clientela, vienen hispanos, vienen americanos, vienen...
So that was a positive interview. They did not seem to feel segregated nor discriminated against. Do you think their feelings of not feeling segregated support your observations?
We actually found that they did seem to be slightly segregated geographically due to a language barrier for sure, as well as the fact they're in the lower cost part of Charlestown, which provides them more opportunity to move into the area as a immigrant.
So after this, what was your next step?
Well, we wanted to look at the opposite perspective, so we went and interviewed somebody who had lived in Charlestown for her entire life.
Mm-hmm. Let's see what they had to say.
When you're from here and in the era that we grew up, you love it here. You don't want to leave. I just can't afford to buy anything here right now. A lot of pride, but not so much in that I'm Irish. They're like one of the worst projects down there. It's absolutely disgusting. You couldn't pay me to walk through. Most of it is the bottom of the barrel at every race. I mean, I'm not singling out anything.
Well, she's clearly from Boston. Seems proud to be from Charlestown as well. However, it seemed like she was expressing feelings of racial tension.
Well, we don't think it's actually racial tension exactly. We think it's more class tension. Charlestown has a very strong working class population, and as lower class people are moving into the projects, a lot of the residents view them as not contributing anything. And in addition, on the opposite side of the spectrum, we can see higher income people moving in and causing problems for these people as well. So our next step was to talk to one of the higher income people who's moving in and get his perspective.
All right, well, let's see what they had to say.
Mix of people my age, like mid-30s, that moved in the past like 2 years or so, and then there's a bunch of neighbors. There's a bunch of neighbors that have been living there since the mid-70s. First thing in my mind if I were to describe Charlestown would not be Irish.
Yeah, and I think that's because he's also...
Well, he seemed optimistic, but didn't really seem to know much about Charlestown.
Yeah, and I think that's because he's also an immigrant to the area. He's part of a new group of people who's moving in not from out of the country, but from a different part of the state, who's coming in as a different culture.
What do you think is motivating people to move to Charlestown?
Well, there are a lot of pull factors that are bringing people into the city. Sometimes people are bored of the suburban ideal and want something more exciting in the city. Sometimes people want the convenience of being in the city, but not necessarily such a hectic lifestyle of being downtown. And Charlestown definitely offers a little bit of a middle ground to people. And sometimes it's as simple as just no one wants a 2-hour commute to work.
Do you think that there are consequences associated with these pull factors?
Absolutely. There's only a fixed amount of space in Charlestown. And when higher income residents are moving in, they're raising rent prices and they're pushing the working class residents of Charlestown out.
So this isn't about race?
No, it really isn't. And in concluding our study, what we found was that most of the immigration in Charlestown is actually class immigration, and most of it is coming from these people who are coming in and gentrifying the area, and that the Hispanic population coming in from out of the country really is just a small part of the overall changes happening in Charlestown right now.
All right, well, thank you. This has been a great overview of immigration in Charlestown. Definitely different than one might have expected. Thank you for coming. Don't go anywhere, though. After the break, we join us to discuss East Boston with Northeastern's professor, Dr. Estrella Luna.